All right, well, we're going to continue our NWSL coverage to get ready for the NWSL Championship. Of course, we had our long preview episode that came out on Monday. Me and Jordan talked for over an hour and 45 minutes about these games and these teams because we are so excited. So we figured we should have someone on who will probably be a little bit more involved and someone who knows exactly what's going on. So we are going to Washington Spirit and NWSL second team best 11 midfielder, Hal Hershfelt. Hal, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. We are very excited. We are excited for Kansas City. We're excited for the final. But before we get there, we want to start with what already happened. To be clear, this is a show that loves ball possession and passing and defending. So we asked to interview before you scored in the last game. So I want that to be known for starters. But take us into Saturday. How epic was it? How was the experience? What do you remember as you sit here now thinking about it?
Oh gosh, that was just an awesome moment, being able to do that for my team in stoppage time. I think being able to go into overtime and kind of keep that going. I got a perfect ball from McKenna and I was able to finish it, so I was really happy about that.
Do you guys have a secret play name? Is it the Tiger? Is it Clemson? Like, did you say let's go for this with our secret play?
Did you do the double wing?
We don't have a name for it, but maybe we should make it a thing. I don't know. That's a good idea.
It did feel like you just knew that it was going to happen. You expected that type of ball from McKenna. But the reaction afterwards, your pump up to the crowd, did you know that you had that in you? Like, it felt very visceral. Like, I just got to go. I got to get them into this.
Literally, that's like what I felt like. I was like, I have to do it. I mean, there's 19,000 people here. Like, it's for that. Like, in games like that, it almost feels like, I mean, it's for a lot more, like your team and everything like that. But when you're in front of a crowd like that, I feel like you kind of have to get them involved. So, yeah.
It was Marta-esque. We saw her celebration after her goal. You had that same like energy and yell that she is so famous for, which is not a bad thing to be compared to at all. Yeah. And we'll talk about her coming up in a moment because that's who you'll be facing off against this weekend. But last question about what happened. So 3 shooters in a shootout is pretty rare. Normally it goes pretty long. Aubrey did all of you a favor, but were you on the list for shooting? And how do you feel about penalties?
Yeah, I was in the second group, and I feel like at the Spirit we've done a good job of like practicing them. We practice them a lot together, so I feel like that kind of builds confidence when you do it every single day. I mean, we even mimic like the hoopla that you have at games, like yelling at each other while we're taking the PKs. So I mean, I feel like our team's pretty confident when it comes to that, and it shows.
Do you bring out the drums? Do you play the drums for each other?
No, not the drums. Not the drums.
She just yells at him like this. Ah!
Literally.
The full Clemson scream. Let's talk about your season. Rookie year. This is a pretty special year. As I said, you've been named into the NWSL second team best 11. You came in as this large rookie class. It's been talked about quite a bit with Washington. For yourself, now that you're looking back at this point of the season, what were your expectations? What were your goals? Like, what did you want this year to look like?
I feel like everyone kind of comes in their rookie year. They like want to make an impact right off the bat. I feel like you don't come in with like expectations of like, this is going to happen. It's more like, I'm going to do everything I can, like work my butt off, see what happens. And it just so happened that way. I feel like the team has really created a very welcoming environment for us. They've never really looked at us as like young rookie players. They've kind of looked at us as like contributing members. And I feel like there's a bunch of us, that helps too when you have strength in numbers. So I feel like that's kind of helped along the way to make us as successful as we have been.
That does seem like something that works so well for this group, that there are so many of you that you can rely on each other with all these, everything's new happening at once. Like, do you live together? Is there a little bit of a dorm happening where all the rookies are hanging out together and getting through these moments, or what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, like, they're my best friends. Like, I see them every day. We're always, talking, hanging out. Yeah, so we have a lot of time to like talk about it. And like you said, it's all been so new, but just having those people beside you that are going through the exact same thing makes it all much better.
You played with a number of these players before or against them. Is there anyone that you were like scared to be a teammate with, where you were like, we've had battles in the past?
Honestly, no. Okay, I was a little nervous about, this is so funny because we're so close now, but me and Kate Wiesner, we played against each other in like the Sweet 16. Same thing with Croy. We played each other. I forget which game it was specifically, but in the past college season, it was the Sweet 16. and Elite Eight. And those are high intensity games. You know, we beat them both. And I was nervous about like the reaction to that coming into because it was super close, like timing that we had to come to the Spirit. So I was like, I wonder if that's going to still be there. But they took it like champs. We were all getting along great. So, yeah.
Your teammate Corey Bethune was named NWSL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Are you part of the voting for that? Did you vote?
Of course.
Did you vote?
Yes.
Am I allowed to ask who you voted for?
Yes, of course I'm going to vote for Corey. I mean, she's just, the flair that she has on the field is phenomenal. I mean, it's so sad that we lost her earlier. That, like, I wish she could be here with us now in this type of game because, I mean, she's just such a phenomenal player. And to have that in, like, I think she played like 60% of the season. Like, that's phenomenal. Like, who else could do that? So.
We voted the same, so we're all in unison here.
Yeah.
I really liked the midfield of this Washington Spirit team all year. There's been different roles that you yourself have been able to play. Where do you feel the most comfortable in the midfield, and where do you feel like your game has maybe grown the most this season?
So I think I really don't have a preference. I do love playing the 6 or the 8. I feel like it has its pros and cons with both. Right now, I'm more of like a 6, and that's traditionally what I did all throughout college, so I feel comfortable there. But I do love playing 8 too because I get a little more freedom. So it's kind of like best of both worlds. I don't really mind which one. So yeah, I think also like we have so many quality midfielders that it's easy to pop into new positions and kind of deal with it because everyone kind of has a general idea of what they're supposed to do. So everyone's really fun to play with in there.
Mm-hmm.
You started your time in this league playing in midfield alongside a legend and a club legend. She went down with an injury actually against Orlando, who now you will see once again, which is really unfortunate. What was it like playing with her, and what have you taken from her, or what was it like maybe learning, okay, this is how I want to play a 6 so that the 8s next to me can sort of have a similar experience?
Yeah, so actually coming in with Andy was just such a cool experience for me because that's someone that I've watched forever. And so being able to play next to her was so, so cool. I like coming into season, I was like, geez, I get to play next to Andy. But yeah, definitely from her, I'm more of like a high energy player, and I feel like she's very patient and like calculated in what she does. And I've definitely been able to pick up more on that kind of side of the game playing next to her. So yeah, I've learned so much from her, and I mean, I learn more from her every single day. Not even though she's not playing right now because of the injury, just when it comes to like leadership and how she carries herself off the field, like I feel like that's a person you can learn from every single day.
She's the best. She really is. Andy Sullivan has done so many great things in this sport, and you're right. It's nice that you get that in your rookie year to be able to learn from a player like that. You've also got to learn from Jonathan Heraldez, who has come into this league and I think really just brought a different level to this squad. First off, did you see his celebration after you guys won? Did you see the video of it?
I saw the video. All of us were passing the video around. That was so funny. Oh,
he could not help himself. He just had to take a lap of extreme joy. Goss and I were laughing because it looked like the security guards thought he was like an intruder because he was dressed in just like a sweatshirt that they didn't actually know he was the coach. So we loved that moment because he is a really passionate guy. What have you liked most about playing under him this season?
Honestly, like that part, like I feel like that's a big part of my game is like the passion and grit that I have, and he like pushes that agenda on us, like, and I feel like it shows in the past couple games we have, like dealing with double overtime, going to PKs, the way that we're just able to like stick to our mentality and kind of gut those games out. I feel like a lot of that does come from what he's taught us.
Esme Morgan said that when Tara scored, she cried, so she didn't run over to the team. You mentioned that emotion. How does it feel like as a group you manage it while making it, useful and rather not than being a negative?
Yeah, so that's I am such a crier. Like any game winner, I swear, this is not even playoffs, but like even at Audi when we score game winners, like Corey's had one, Lacey's had one, I'm crying. But yeah, I think just being able to be in the moment, experience it, it's cool. But then after that, you got to take a deep breath, keep going. It was so funny this past game. I was kind of freaking out after I scored. And I remember vividly, like, Lena came up to me and was like, I'm so proud of you, but we have, like, more of the game left. Same thing with PK. She was like, I'm so proud of you, but you might have to take a PK. So you gotta calm down. So, like, having those people that can, like, ground you is really helpful.
Mm-hmm. One of the big moments of this game, which I forgot to ask you about at the beginning, though, was the red card that was drawn by Trinity Rodman, on Brunina, and then there was a lot of conversation afterwards. You were with the national team all summer. I assume you have a relationship with a lot of these players. Felt like Emily Sonnet and Trinity Rodman had a relationship over the course of that time as well with their yelling. What was going on, and what's sort of your role in that moment?
Honestly, like, it's a very heated game. I mean, our season's on the line. Two phenomenal players going at it. They're both very passionate. Some of the most passionate players that I've ever played with or against. So, I mean, it's not surprising in a moment like that where, once again, our season's on the line. In that moment, honestly, just not letting it escalate, I feel like, is very important. And that's all I can say about that. I wasn't really listening to the exchange going on. I was just kind of there, but yeah.
They need to take it and like voice it over and just do one of those like NFL but NWSL meme ones, because I was here for it. I loved all
amazing.
of that. It made for really good television, but in the moment you're probably like, okay, Trin, let's back away and keep playing. Okay. It's finals week. You guys are playing in a championship, which is so exciting. Can you give us a little bit of insight into what the mood has been like at training this week?
I mean, the mood has been good. We just came off of 2 games where, I've said this before, but we've had to kind of like gut it out, and I feel like that just shows the resilience of our team. And I feel like right now we feel like we can attack this challenge, because it is going to be a challenge. They're a great team. They've had a great season, but we also bring a lot to the table too. So respecting them, but also knowing what we bring to the table is going to be really important. I
have heard that you love to go on coffee walks with the team.
Yes.
I don't even love coffee, and my favorite coffee shop in America is in Kansas City. It's called Messenger Cafe. So I had to throw that in there as a recommendation if you end up having, I don't know, free time over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the rec. That's awesome.
Yes.
And if you go and it's good, I'm the only one who's ever heard of it before. Because once you go, everyone will be like, oh, I've heard of that place. But I want it to be known that I was there first, especially if you win. I want credit for the good lucks and all that going forward. You mentioned Orlando. They are obviously the Shield winner. And the last game you played against them was kind of a down moment for your club. Andy got hurt in that game. She was out for the season, a 2-0 loss, and it kind of felt like, where does this team stand? What did you learn from that game, and what are you focused on over the this week when you're talking about film and tactics about what Orlando does well and how it affects you?
I mean, once again, it's like you can respect them, but know that we bring like different attributes to the table too. Like, I feel like the fact that all of our players can have a big impact is something that we kind of pride ourselves on. So I think honestly, like, yes, we have a game plan and that's cool, but knowing like that we have personality on the ball too, that we can make a difference as well. They're a great team, but kind of just going into the same mindset of those 2 games don't matter. Like, they do matter because we can learn a lot from them. But at the end of the day, like, the result of this game is what matters in the moment. Those 2 games don't matter. Like, we need to attack this game, like, not with our tail tucked between our legs, like, oh, we've lost twice. Because that doesn't matter at the end of the day.
This is always a big event, the championship. So we got to know how many people from the Hershfelt clan are coming to watch. You have friends and family coming to Kansas City. You have to get a lot of tickets for them, or what?
Yeah, I do have a lot of friends and old coaches and stuff. I'm really excited to see everybody and hang out with them and see and kind of share that moment with them.
So when you step onto the field, Hal, for a championship game, what do you think your mindset is going to be in that moment before the whistle blows? Before the 90 minutes commence, what do you imagine you're going to feel? And you can let your cat come into this.
Yeah, Bobby can join.
She's just intruding at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
But honestly, I hate to be one of those people that's like treat it like any other game. But that's kind of like the approach that I'm going to take. Once again, I'm a very high energy player, and I feel like when I come into these games, like up here, I need to be brought down to like homeostasis a little bit. So lots of deep, big breaths for me and taking the moment in, but not getting too crazy. I think that's going to be important for me personally.
I cannot wait for this game. We are very excited. We're going to be in the building as well, so we're going to be enjoying it with everyone. We don't want to jinx anything, so we're not going to say anything specific, but let's just say something positive happens, just so because we won't be able to ask you at the time. Just give us an idea of what it looks like after. Who runs the playlist for Washington in the good times, and who sort of sets the tone?
Oh, gosh. Brittany has the aux. Brittany Radcliffe.
Okay.
Yeah. Radcliffe has the aux, but we got to get there first, y'all. I can't speak on it.
Yeah.
We got to get there first.
Absolutely fair. Well, it's going to be special. It's been a special run. The last 2 games have been some of the best we've seen. The environments, the atmospheres. We know Kansas City is going to be pretty great as well. And we're seeing 1 versus 2, which is rare. So it is going to be a big time final. So Hal, thank you for taking the time to join us. Congratulations on the award and good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, y'all.